A video on a Wednesday? What's going on here? Guys, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm trying something new and I'm uploading every single day this week. Just so I can test out some things. But yeah, I hope you guys don't mind too much. Today we'll be reacting to the scariest Pixar theories. So yeah, I can't wait to see this video because I've been a Pixar fan all my life. So yes, go ahead and just get right into the reaction.
Whether it's a classic like Toy Story or a more recent addition to the universe, Disney and Pixar fans have a way of summoning the most insane theories that will seriously make you question everything. Welcome back, everyone. My name is Kennedy, and if you thought there couldn't possibly be any more evil, concerning, or unsettling theories about your childhood classics, then think again, because today we are back with some of the most horrifying ones yet. So get ready, because this is the top 10 evil Disney Pixar theories that will make you question everything, part 3. Starting us off at number 10, Monsters, Inc. and Toy Story. The Monsters, Inc. franchise is no stranger to a dark fan theory, and while this one might not be as evil as the theory surrounding harvesting blood, it's definitely still something you hope isn't true. Provided that we're all on board with the overall Pixar universe theory, it would stand to reason that the young minds in the Pixar universe, like Andy for example, would be subject to the scream-inducing monsters from Monstropolis. I mean, who else would they be scaring, really? Today, however, we are just focusing on one monster, Randall. Some fans out there believe that Randall could be not only the villain of Monsters, Inc., but also Andy's monster in his own version of reality, and the reasons behind it are kind of intriguing. The first reason that is pointed out is that Randall is seen practicing camouflage in front of a background that looks exactly like the walls in Andy's room. And the second reason is that in Toy Story 3, we see a sign on Andy's closet with a picture of a creature that looks just like Randall. I mean, why else would he have a drawing of a scary monster if it wasn't him trying to get the scary monster that comes in his room at night out of his head? So, yeah.
I thought Randall was Boo's monster.
Was terrorizing poor Andy as well as Boo.
That's scared.
Number 9, Riley's
two
monster.
Children.
Speaking of Monsters, Inc. crossovers, this next theory...
No, think about it. It's not really explained in Monster Inc. Whether or not a monster could scare two children, because you know each monster was assigned to a single child. You know, explain what a monster could actually be assigned to two children. That's actually an interesting thing to account for some of these Monster Inc. theories.
Suggests that Riley too could have been one of the scaries the monsters had to visit at night. Now, there is one theory out there that suggests that Bing Bong is actually Riley's monster, but from like after the first Monsters Inc. movie where they were harvesting laughter, hence why he wouldn't be a frightening presence in her life. And while I can definitely see that one holding up, there is another conflicting fan theory that is a bit more interesting. The second theory is that Bing Bong is simply her imaginary friend, as we're told, but that he contains clues relating to who her actual monster is. As you might remember from the movie, Bing Bong tells us what he was inspired from, but he just so happens to leave out where his legs came from. Suspicious. Fans have pieced together that this is because his legs are inspired by her monster, George Sanderson, whose fur exactly resembles the yellow and orange striped legs we see on Bing Bong. And so, the reason that Bing Bong can't identify where his legs come from is because Riley was either so afraid of George that she blocked the memory, or she just pretended not to remember as she was trying to turn something frightening into something more positive. Now, if all this is true, that would also mean
those memories see a picture of George
back that causes the entire ruckus at the beginning of Monsters Inc. would have been Riley's, which is a fun little Easter egg. Coming in at number 8, Bruce the shark. In the movie Finding Nemo, Bruce made us all giggle as he held his Sharks Anonymous meeting, stating the now famous catchphrase, "Fish are friends, not food." But some fans out there began to wonder just where he might have gotten this belief system from. After all, I am only aware of 2 vegetarian sharks in the media, Lenny from Shark Tale and Bruce. Well, some fans think they have gotten to the bottom of it, and I gotta say, if anything, this one is an entertaining theory. According to fans, Bruce is actually the son of the shark from Jaws, but that his dad abandoned him when he was young and he was raised by a single mother. Just stay with me. The theory then goes on to explain that his mother was likely wanting her child to be unlike his father, and so raised him to be as kind-hearted as she could. Now, as I already mentioned, in Finding Nemo, Bruce has his shark support group whose mantra goes against the killing machine narrative that is so often associated with sharks. And some fans theorize that Bruce is so afraid of becoming his dad that he formed this support group to make his mother proud and to try and hold himself accountable. I mean, this one is a bit far-fetched, I have to admit, but hey, you have to admit it would be wild if it turned out to be true. Next up at number 7, The Emperor's New Groove. So before anyone says it, I know The Emperor's New Groove is not a part of the Pixar canon, but this is a list about Disney Pixar theories, so I'm gonna lean a little heavy on the Disney side for this one. This theory starts off by noticing that when the fly screams out to Llama Cusco for help before being eaten by a spider, it's screaming out in English. Now, to most, this might have been a fairly insignificant bit of the movie, however, this fan theory suggests that it could actually be super grim. Essentially, they point out that the only animals that are able to speak in the movie are the ones who were originally human, i.e. Yzma the cat, and of course Cusco as the llama. So, if animals in this universe can only speak English if they were once human, it means the fly about to be eaten by a giant spider is a human trapped in a fly's body. The only hole I kinda wanna poke through this one is that the squirrel kind of talks. I mean, he speaks and squeaks, but Kronk does understand him, so I guess you could also propose that the squirrel was once a human too, and that he just has been a squirrel for so long he's forgotten how to speak. Because I mean, he can definitely communicate. And
at that point, you might as well say every animal is a
character in the movie.
Human at one point.
I'm just spitballing. I'm just glad there's no real life potions that could turn me into a fly and make me spider food. Next up at number 6, Wreck-It Ralph. This next one was posted to Reddit by the user It's Got to Make Sense, and it makes an already sad backstory into an even more chilling theory. So, as you might remember, in the movie Wreck-It Ralph, one of the characters, Calhoun from the Hero's Duty game, tells the tragic story about her husband being eaten by a cybug, and that she had to kill said cybug at their wedding. I mean, already super not great. However, they explain that it gets even darker when you piece together the fact that during the movie we learn that cybugs morph into whatever they eat. Calhoun herself mentions this a few times, and we see it in action with Ralph's laser gun and then again with King Candy. So, that would in turn mean that when Calhoun's husband was eaten, the cybug would have quickly started morphing into the image of him, and that she would be forced to shoot at not only a creature that just ate her husband, but one that looked just like him too. And on her wedding day to boot. Talk about a rough day. Next up at number...
So I think that one's actually true because it just makes sense. All the bit we've been getting throughout the movie, it makes sense that she shot her husband. It's sad, but it's true.
5, Onward and Toy Story. Onward is one of the newer films that's been
That's a good movie. I like Onward.
Having only been released in 2020, but wouldn't you know it, some fans believe it could be connected to the one that started it all. The movie Onward centers around 2 teenage elf brothers, the younger Ian and the eldest Barley, whose father tragically passed away before Ian was born. On Ian's 16th birthday, the boy's mother gives her sons a magical toolkit that can bring their father back for one day. But of course, shenanigans unfold and the boys must set out on a journey in order to be able to complete the magic spell. Now, the fan theory surrounding this one is actually more sad than evil, but hey. So for this theory to work, you also have to remember there is a pretty big fan theory that suggests Andy from Toy Story's dad is also dead. And so essentially, some fans believe that Onward is not actually its own story.
Oh yeah,
This
story.
that is imagined in the head of Andy to help him cope with the loss of his father. Meaning that Andy is trying to imagine a world where he could live in a magical universe and bring his dad back to life. I mean, just break my heart already. Coming in at number 4, Pixar Endgame. As we are all well aware at this point, the biggest theory of them all is the Pixar universe theory, which, just like any other universe theory, imagines that all the movies exist in the same world and that their characters and plots overlap and intertwine. So, based on this umbrella theory, there is a fan theory surrounding the conclusion or end goal for the characters of this universe, and that is a complete human apocalypse followed by running the world and ruling over humans forever. Sounds just like the cheery stories you remember watching as a kid, right? Essentially, this theory suggests that it's actually all the talking toys, inanimate objects, and talking animals that send humans away on the Axiom ship because they were all fed up with being treated like second-class citizens and being used by their human owners. Then, once the humans return to Earth with the help of Wall-E, a pseudo-supervillain uprising begins, forcing the humans to work for the toys and be treated just as they were for all those years. Now, this one is dark, but maybe the worst part about it is that if it were true, that would mean that Wall-E would have to be in on the plot, meaning that he would actually be luring humanity back, not to help regrow it, but to imprison
You already lost
under
me.
a new dictatorship of malevolent toys.
This is
which,
so complex.
Yeah, is definitely darker than how I remember it. Coming in at number 3, Monstropolis isn't real. Once again, we have yet another sinister theory to add to the Monsters, Inc. franchise, and this one involves my favorite character, Boo, but it's definitely not my favorite theory. The theory starts off by saying that when you watch Monsters, Inc., Boo seems to be having a blast with her new monster friends, Sully and Mike. But the bad part comes in when they ask, what if Monstropolis wasn't a real place at all? What if the monsters aren't real? And what if the story of Monsters, Inc. is merely a warped trauma memory created by Boo to cope with being kidnapped?
Ah, yes. The simple what if it was all in the main character's head. How classic.
You see already
How original.
why I hate this theory. Essentially, this theory states that when Boo returned from this adventure, her parents would have been worried sick, and the story they would have got is that she was taken in the night by some monsters who made her scream and then proceeded to hang out in a strange city with said fuzzy giant and a one-eyed monster. So could it be that Sully was less of a friendly fuzzball and more of a creepy, overly hairy kidnapper? I mean, I choose to believe no because I love Boo too much, but let me know what you think of this one. Coming in at number 2, Bon Voyage is the real villain. While most of us watched the Incredibles movie thinking the main villain was Syndrome, there are some fans out there that have a different opinion. According to this theory, the villain we see at the top of the movie, Bon Voyage, is actually far more evil than Syndrome ever was, as he was actually behind the entire lawsuit against the supers. Let me break it down. Fans point out that in the movie, the man who appears to be taking his own life, who is saved by Mr. Incredible, was not just some random guy, but actually a henchman of Bon Voyage planted to simultaneously protect the supers from ruining Bon Voyage's heist and then be the catalyst for the lawsuit. Supporters of this theory point out it seems fairly
so
convenient
far-fetched though.
that this man happens to be jumping from the building at the exact same time a heist is taking place when 2 well-known superheroes just so happen to be nearby. And so it's believed he was used to lure the supers into the building, which in turn allowed the unknown henchman to later claim it as an unwanted act, hence outlawing supers and allowing villains to go on scheming completely undisturbed forever. And last up in our number 1 spot,
that's a big good one.
Linguini. It didn't take long for the world to
be a
fall
good
in
one.
love with Remy the rat. I mean, honestly, what wasn't to love about the adorable little critter? But this theory might have you second guessing just how quickly you fell for him. One Reddit user suggested that Remy might not be an actual character, but rather a metaphor for something much darker: drug addiction. The theory explains that Linguini, who is the
drug
chef
addiction.
that Remy controls, is is not so much under the influence
How
of a
original.
super amazing rat chef, but rather another illegal substance. To make matters more evil, the theory then reminds us that Linguini's father, the famous and acclaimed Gusteau, was one of Paris's best chefs, and so all that pressure would have been a lot to handle. And so Linguini, now finding himself working in a restaurant and feeling like he can't live up to his legacy, turns to other substances for a sense of confidence, and it's only when under those influences that he can magically cook. But of course he keeps it a secret, knowing he'll be judged if anyone finds out the truth. Now what makes this even darker is that in the end, he's still cooking with Remy, so I'm not sure it's got the best message. All I have to say is, as far as evil theories go, this one is a lot. I mean, can't we just enjoy a nice story? Well, that's all I've got for you today.
Alright.
I hope you liked the evil Pixar theory.
But these were like really far-fetched theories that they didn't have much concrete evidence for from the actual show. That's what normal these theories do. And also like the classic, what if it was all a dream, or in the character's head, or a coma? And like, what if they were on drugs? Like, we've heard that before. You can apply it to almost every single movie in some way, shape, or form. You know, like Shrek. What if Shrek is the guy on drugs with his dog who went on an adventure? Like, it could be applied to every single movie. So I wouldn't call it a theory as much as it's pure speculation. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below about those theories. Personally, I thought they just weren't out any good. But yeah, let's go do it for today's video. Yeah, take care. Let me know what else you actually in the comments below. Remember, if I can do it, you can do it too. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.